didn't take care of him anymore after some point. So that's that one. Oh, man. All right, so let's see. So 2011 up to... Dog just scared the crap out of me. So then again in, let's see, 2017, that was her theft judgment. She got it. So one, hold on, don't worry. There's more. Well, currently she says she has her 2 boys living with her. So I don't know what happened to her last child. Or if there's an open case or what. So 2017, original petition. Discovery in this case is continued to be conducted. This suit is brought by Elsa O'Neill and Frank O'Neill, petitioners. The last 3 numbers... Oh, hold on. Y'all don't need that part. Respondents are Dylan and Connie. Petitioners are the great aunt and great uncle of the children, the subject of this suit. Petitioners have standing to bring in this suit that they have had actual care, control, and possession of the children for at least 6 months before the filing of this suit. So that's their 3 kids that they just abandoned. The father of these children is Dylan. Process should be served, blah, blah, blah. Y'all don't care about reading that. Conservatorship. The appointment of the parents as joint managing conservators would not be in the best interest of the children. It is in the best interest of the children that the petitioners be appointed sole managing conservatorship of the children. Preceding the filing of this suit, respondents have engaged in a history or pattern of child neglect. So not just him, she engaged in child neglect too. Respondents have a history or pattern of child neglect directed against all 3 of the children. Petitioners request the court to deny respondents access to the children. Alternatively, petitioners request that the court render a possession order that provides that respondents' periods of visitation be continuously supervised by an entity or person chosen by the court. Yes, only 10 alive. So they were ordered to support the kids, request for temporary orders. Petitioners request temporary orders to get that sped up. They also request for a temporary restraining order against them. And obviously we know that, Connie didn't even show up in person, but she just signed. Dylan appeared by telephone on these orders. The court, after examining the record and the evidence and argument of counsel, finds that it has jurisdiction of this case and all the parties. Conservatorship. The court finds that the following orders are in the best interest of the children. It is ordered that the aunt and uncle get sole conservatorship, and they have pretty much all the rights. It is ordered that at all times, Connie and Dylan, as parent possessory conservators, shall have the following duties: the duty to inform the other conservator of the children in a timely manner, the duty to inform the other conservator of the children if the conservator resides with for at least 30 days, marries or intends to marry a person. That's just a bunch of formal crap. It is ordered that during their periods of possession, Connie and Dylan shall have the following rights and duties: the duty of care, the right to have physical possession, and to the direct. Okay. I don't care about all that. It is ordered that Elsa and Frank shall each 12 months after the date of this order file with a court of reports of facts concerning the children's welfare. So basically a year after they had to report how good the kids were doing. restricted periods of access. The court finds that credible evidence has been presented that Kayl1e and Dylan O'Neill have a history or pattern of child neglect. So the court found that. The court further finds that awarding Kayl1e and Dylan O'Neill access to the children would not endanger the children's physical health or emotional welfare and would be in the best interest of the children. It is therefore ordered as follows. Respondents shall have possession of the children on Mondays from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Elsa and Frank shall have the right of possession of the children at all other times. So they were allowed to see their kids on Mondays from 1 to 3 p.m. All exchanges of the children shall occur at the residence of the petitioners. Connie and Dylan shall abstain from the consumption of alcohol or any controlled substances within 12 hours before. It is ordered that all periods of possession by supervised, they had to have an adult supervise them while they were with their kids. Child support, it is ordered that they don't have to pay child support. Health insurance, blah, blah, blah. And that was it on that. So that was when they lost that one. Now here's the CASA. I hope y'all are ready for this. This was for the three kids that were born in 2015, 2016, and 2017. Current placement: blank is placed in a foster home in Bangs, Texas. Blank and blank are placed in the blank foster home in Zephyr, Texas. The department's current permanency plan is family reunification because that's always the goal. Aaron, thank you. Clea, Playa, Queen Bee, Sammy Sue, Boobop, Michelle, Mindy, Karma, Cassie, thank y'all so much. Blank is currently placed in a foster home in Bangs, Texas. She seems to be adjusting to her placement. She completed a physical exam on July 2nd, 2018, and was referred to early childhood intervention for an evaluation. There are concerns that Blank is developmentally behind. It has been reported that she has trouble swallowing. She completed a vision exam on July 2nd. CASA is not aware of the results, but will follow up. On July 16th, she completed a dental exam, had a tooth pulled due to decay. No other concerns were noted. Due to concerns regarding Blank's developmental, she has been referred to Cook's Children's Hospital for a forensic pediatric evaluation. Ms. Waldy has the opportunity to have weekly FaceTime calls with her children. It is CASA's understanding that the department is willing to provide transportation for Ms. Waldy once a month in order for her to have face-to-face visit with all three children. Blank is currently placed in a foster home in Zephyr, Texas with his younger brother. He seems to be adjusting to his placement. He completed a physical exam on July 17th, 2018 and was referred to early childhood intervention for an evaluation. There is concern that he is developmentally delayed both physically and verbally for his age. It has been reported that he can say a few words and will often copy what the caregivers say. A forensic pediatric evaluation is in the process of being scheduled through that hospital. Blank was seen for a dental exam on July 11th and no concerns were noted. Are people fighting in the chat? Blank is currently placed in a... Blank... Hold on. Blank is currently placed in a foster home in Zephyr, Texas with his older brother. He seems to have adjusted the placement and has become attached to the foster mom. It has been reported that he is very observant. He is a very observant baby. He is on formula and eats baby food. Blank completed a physical exam on July 17th, 2018 and was referred to early childhood intervention for an evaluation. There is concern that he is developmentally behind and small for his age. Due to these concerns, a forensic pediatric evaluation is in the process of being scheduled through the hospital. Blank completed a dental exam on July 11th and no concerns were noted. So Blank is currently the caregiver to Miss Waldy's three older children and not able to be placement for any additional children. So they've been trying to get these kids away from these people. So she had to do a thing to establish Dylan as the father. Oh, family service plan. Reasons for the Child Protective Services involvement. Y'all be ready for this one. The department is involved due to neglectful supervision of all three children. the biological mother, Kayl1e, and alleged father, Dylan O'Neill, the children were oftentimes left unsupervised or by individuals they don't know. The parents of the children were failing to meet their basic needs. They are behind on their developmental milestones and having complications from this as a result. The youngest child was left to sit in his feces unattended, which resulted in a rash that had to be medically treated by a physician. Family strength and support. Miss Kayl1e doesn't have a strong support system. Miss Kayl1e states that she had support from her sister and her friends at work, but does not regularly see them or count on them. Miss Kayl1e is aware of the community supports and is able to access those when needed. Miss Kayl1e hopes to be reunited with her child. Caseworker Blank would like to see the child continue to be in a stable environment where he can progress and meet all developmental milestones. So here's what she was supposed to do, just like basically, you know, being honest, drug and alcohol assessment, all of the above. Upon completion of the psychological evaluation, Miss Kayl1e will attend and participate in counseling with Blank. She will be honest and forthcoming with her therapist. Blank's phone number is blank. Miss Kayl1e understands it is her responsibility to call and schedule appointments. And that's basically like the safety plan for the children. Here was Dylan's safety plan. The children were removed from biological mother Kayl1e and father Dylan O'Neill for neglectful supervision. The parents failed to provide the basic needs of all three children. The children were left alone or unattended. The children had untreated medical needs such as severe diaper rashes. All three children are developmentally and physically behind due to the neglect they suffered. The children are bonded with the foster family and often get to see their siblings. Caseworker Blank would like to see the children continue to be in a stable environment where they can progress and meet all developmental milestones. So then once again, the plan and goals. Oh my God, I keep Xing out. Why? She made videos of Bree talking ish about not setting the visits. Yeah. Girl, she wasn't even going. Yeah, she's worse than Bree. Worse. By far. And then we've got, let's see. Before me, the undersigned authority, blah, blah, blah. My name is blank and I'm over the age of 18, of sound mind and capable. Wait, is this the one I already read? Was this when they went to... Oh, here we go. No. Y'all want this. So this is another report on them. On March 22nd, 2018, the Department of Family and Protective Services received a report alleging neglectful supervision. No, she's never had all of her kids at the same time. So this was 3 kids. So this was 2018, and these were kids born in 2017. So a 1-year-old, one born in 2006, one born in 2017. So a 2-year-old. No, 2017, 1-year-old, 2016, 2-year-old, and 2015, 3-year-old, by their biological mother, Kayl1e, and their biological father, Dylan O'Neill. It was reported that all the children were home alone and Miss Kayl1e's whereabouts were unknown. Ma'am, I thought you said you didn't do anything wrong. A 1, a 2, and a 3-year-old. She just left at home. All alone. Every one of her kids were like 1 year apart. Yes. It was reported that Blank had a rash and blisters from sitting in his own body fluids and excrement and requires medical attention. It was so bad, the baby needed medical attention. It was reported there is no food in the house and the home's conditions are unsanitary. Facts necessitating removal. On March 22nd, 2018, I responded to the Metro Inn located at blah blah in Midland and spoke with Midland police detective who advised me that they had received an anonymous tip about a caller who had concerns about Mr. O'Neill and Miss Waldy's children. He advised me that upon making initial contact with the family at the hotel room, the room was trashed with soiled diapers everywhere, dirty clothes everywhere, and the youngest child had a bad rash on both the down there area and his neck area. Detective Blank stated that Miss Waldy was not at the hotel room when they made initial contact and arrived shortly after. When he spoke to Miss Waldy, she told him that Mr. O'Neill was not letting her take the children out of the hotel room and that there is DV between them, which is the reason she was not in the hotel room initially. Detective Blank advised me that they contacted EMS to come assist with Blank, who had the rash. Detective Blank also advised that Miss Waldy and Mr. O'Neill are currently homeless and stay in the Metro Inn. And their stay at the Metro Inn expired today. Mr. O'Neill was taken into custody for warrants. I spoke to Mr. O'Neill while he was sitting in the back of the patrol unit, and he stated that he did not know why the room was in the condition that it was found in. He stated that he had been looking for a place to live, but it had been unsuccessful. Mr. O'Neill stated that he only smoked greenery but denies any other rug use. When asked for his support system, he only named his sister, identified as Blank, but failed to provide me any of her contact information. Connie is Ash Trevino Roaches. Y'all, it's a true crime case. Why does it matter? When asked for his prior to speaking to Miss Waldy, I was allowed to make contact with the children inside of the room. Midland police officers and Midland EMS were present, assisting with changing the children into clean clothes, and EMS was assisting Blank with what appeared to be a rash, as well as a rash on his neck. Another concern at the time was that Blank, 2 years old, was almost the same size as the 1-year-old. This was when she was in the home. She was in the home. Blank appeared to be underweight for her age. The hotel room was found in unsanitary conditions, as it was found with soiled diapers through the room that were accessible to the children. The food in the room appeared to be expired. The feeding bottles in the room appeared to have spoiled milk inside of them, to the point that they were forming a crust on the inside of them. She ain't ever going to be able to come on this app again. I then spoke with Miss Waldy outside of the hotel room. She stated that Mr. O'Neill was aggressive towards her, and that is why she was not residing with him at the time law enforcement arrived. Miss Waldy stated that she is currently homeless, but was staying at a friend's house because of the DV between her and Mr. O'Neill. She advised me that he would not let her take the children, and he was residing with them at the hotel. Miss Waldy advised, but how did she know to go to the hotel? And the kid, when the cop, like, that doesn't make sense to me. You was there. You just left them there alone, and then you came back. Miss Waldy advised that her support system did not approve of her relationship with Mr. O'Neill because of the DV. Miss Waldy explained that the fights between her and Mr. O'Neill were physical, as he would do a bunch of horrible things to her, and he would be very dominating towards her. She advised me that when they had arguments or altercations, he would not let her leave with the kids, so she would leave by herself. Miss Waldy advised that she had no relatives willing to help her and her 3 children, so she relies on Mr. O'Neill. Like, I get that she seems to be well fed. I understand that there was DV, but there is so many things that you can do in a DV situation when you leave and you're actually done. You can go get help. There is assistance. There is lawyers that will take your case to help get your kids. You could have called CPS. You could have called, and they would have helped you with resources. There's so many different, they weren't married, no. There was so many different things she could have done. Even if they wouldn't let her take the kids, she knew the conditions. She knew. You've never been in DV if you don't understand. That's not true, because I have been, and I've had a protective order against somebody. There is nothing in this world that anyone could do to me that I would leave my children in a dangerous situation. Yeah, if not married, she chose not to take them. Yes, the DV shelters are prepared for those types of things. It wouldn't matter if there wasn't help. Even if you had to be homeless, you take your kids. Exactly. I have been, and I stayed with my kid. That's exactly that. Yes, you would stay with your kids or get them out. That's typically what people would do. She showed she wasn't going to leave him with the prison phone logs. Exactly. Yep. See, y'all get it. You get it. And she did get away and chose to support him. Try to get him freed. Man, I would leave butt naked with if I had to be able to get my kids. CPS helped me escape and get full custody. Yep, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So there was options. After staffing this case with Supervisor Blank, it was determined that Miss Walde and her 3 children would be transported to the Midland CPS office to have the kids' weight taken again. At the office, we weighed Blank at 11 pounds, at 22 pounds, and at 21 pounds. Supervisor further advised that we would implement a safety plan stating that Miss Walde is to submit to a rug test. Miss Walde is to take the children to the doctor to have Blank's rash observed, their weight, height, and vitals taken. Also in the safety plan, there is to be no contact with Mr. O'Neill, and Miss Walde is to notify the department if she plans on leaving the shelter at a safe place. So they did help her. They helped her in this situation. They helped her. She went back knowing how dangerous he was. On March 26, 2018, the case was staffed with Program Director Blank, and the case was approved for ongoing services due to the children's ages and concerns for DV between Miss Walde, and Mr. O'Neill. On April 3rd, 2018, I received information that Miss Walde was no longer residing at the shelter and that she was possibly residing with a relative. I then staffed this information with Supervisor Blank, who advised that we get a special investigator involved to help looking for Miss Walde. Like, CPS knew that she was a danger. On April 4th, 2018, I received information that Miss Walde and her 3 little children were staying with Elsa O'Neill at blank Midland, Texas. Prior to going to that address, I stopped at Midland County Jail to meet with Mr. O'Neill, who stated that he did not know where Miss O'Neill was at. He advised that he spoke with Miss Walde because she called him and told him that she was at the shelter, but he did not anything else. He advised that she may be staying with Elsa at this time. Mr. O'Neill stated that he is currently homeless and was living at the Metro Inn. He did not know why the room was found in unsanitary conditions. Mr. O'Neill denied DV between him and Miss Walde. Mr. O'Neill continued to answer every question I asked with, "I don't know," and I advised for him to contact me upon his release. I arrived at blank Midland, Texas to no avail, as the address was for an RV park and the office was closed. On April 5th, 2018, I received a text message from the supervisor who received information that Miss Walde and her children were residing at the Executive Inn in Midland, Texas. I mean, she was dragging these children through all these different places. He went to room 2211 where he met with Miss Walde and her 3 children. Miss Walde stated that she broke the safety plan because she did not want to be living at the shelter because she felt like she was in jail. She left the shelter because she felt like she was in jail. Miss Walde advised me that she was struggling to get to work from the shelter and she didn't have anybody to help her take care of the kids. I then explained to Miss Walde, yeah, exactly. She left the shelter because they were going to make her take care of the kids and she couldn't leave them at home alone so that she could go work. It was her bad. Yeah, they were always trying to get away from CPS. The talks yesterday, they were literally both saying that, F CPS. I then explained to Miss Walde about the importance of maintaining communications with me and that if she moved locations that I should be made aware of this. Once inside the hotel room, I observed a bag of chicken nuggets and a bottle of juice inside of the mini fridge. Miss Walde informed me that she did not go rug test and that she did not take the kids to the doctor because of lack of transportation. I then staffed this case with supervisors so the kids had a thing of juice and a couple nuggets. I then staffed the case with Supervisor Blank and Program Director and was advised that I would transport Miss Walde and her children to Midland Memorial Hospital to have the kids seen by a doctor to ensure the kids were medically okay. I then transported Miss Walde and her 3 children to be seen by a doctor who advised that Blank has thrush on his mouth and it was common for a child his age to have. Dr. Blank denied that Miss Walde's lack of hygiene would have caused the thrush. Dr. Lunsford advised that Blank's diaper rash was now minor as Miss Walde's treatment had been working effectively. Dr. Blank advised that Blank was low in weight. However, she does not believe that is due to failure to thrive. Which means that it's because the baby wasn't being fed enough. During this visit, Blank was weighed at 22 pounds. Dr. Blank stated that Blank was failing to reach her milestones, but she did not believe it was a result of abuse or neglect. Weird, because it was for all the other kids. Again, Miss Waldy and I went over the safety plan that stated that she would not allow Mr. O'Neill to have access to the children and would not be unsupervised with him due to the domestic violence. She was told not to leave these kids alone with him. She was told. Waldy agreed to follow up with the clinic, blah, blah, blah. To contact within 24 hours. April 10th, 2018, I received a text from Miss Waldy advising me that she was still in the same hotel but was in need of food, diapers, clothes, and hygiene products. So did this bitch just refuse to work? They brought her all that on April 13th. April 20th, they met with her to conduct an assessment. However, Blank could not complete the assessment as Miss Waldy seemed overwhelmed trying to manage all the children while holding Blank in her arms. Miss Waldy was rug tested on this date and tested negative. April 27th, that's my birthday. On May 2018, I received a phone call from Blank who informed me that Miss Waldy was back with Mr. O'Neill and that she is no longer helping Miss Waldy babysit the children because she feels like Mr. O'Neill should be the one responsible. The case was then staffed with County Attorney Blank and Supervisor Blank. With this information received, I was advised to locate Miss Waldy to see if Mr. O'Neill is also residing in that hotel room. I was advised to conduct the visit alongside with Special Investigator to assist. Special Investigator Blank and I arrived at the Midland Extended Stay and spoke with Blank manager, who stated that Miss Waldy is residing here with her children. She has seen a male who is in and out of the room but does not believe he lives there. We were then given permission to enter the room by Miss Waldy, who gave us permission to inspect the room. Upon inspection, Blank found a bag with men's shoes. Miss Waldy stated that the shoes belonged to Mr. O'Neill, and the reason they were in the room was because Blank, Mr. O'Neill's mother, stopped by the room to drop off some of her belongings, and that bag was included. She denied that Mr. O'Neill was living there. Miss Waldy, that's what I'm saying. She loved this man. Loved this man. Kept wanting him back. Didn't care what he did to them kids. Miss Waldy stated that Mr. O'Neill has been by the room to see his kids, and she could not stop him from doing so because he is the father of the children, and he will also make a scene if he does not see the kids. She stated that Mr. O'Neill found out where she still called this man her best friend after he unalived her child, by the way. That he had been there 3 times and stated that all he wanted to do was see his kids. We talked about the importance of Mr. O'Neill not being here unsupervised to avoid any possibility of DV. She also advised that she would let him in to avoid any confrontation with Mr. O'Neill. Miss Waldy advised me that Mr. O'Neill is employed at Popeyes and he is currently residing with one of his friends. During the visit, the children were observed to be clean and appropriate. I spoke to the supervisor, who advised to ask for daycare to assist Miss Waldy. She just didn't want her kids to go to daycare because she didn't fucking want to work. On May 3rd, 2018, I made contact with Mr. O'Neill's at the Popeyes. He denied living with her, blah, blah, blah. On the same day, I received a text from Miss Waldy who stated she is struggling to get babysitters to help her because they don't want to be involved with the department and she would take some time off from work. I informed Miss Waldy to contact daycares with availability as we begin the process, but of course she didn't do that. On June 4th, 2018, I met with Miss Waldy and her 3 children to inform her that the daycare had been approved for Miss Waldy to begin, and she informed me that she would take the kids tomorrow. On June 5th, 2018, I spoke with the daycare and was advised the children did not attend the daycare. On June 7th, I called Miss Waldy and her phone was disconnected. I went to the Midland Extended Stay and was informed that Miss Waldy had checked out 2 days ago. She was just running from CPS. I then went to Logan's Roadhouse, which is, I guess, where she worked, and she was not there. I spoke to her manager, who stated that he is the one that will sometimes have to pick up Miss Waldy from her hotel room. She is supposed to come in at 4, but is usually late. On June 20th, spoke with someone who received information that Mr. O'Neill had attacked Miss Waldy, who was wanting to flee to either New Mexico or California with her children. On June 22nd, I guess she was assaulted and she was taken to her sister's house. I spoke to Blank, who identified herself as Miss Waldy's sister, who stated that Miss Waldy was attacked a couple days ago and law enforcement brought her to her home. She states that Miss Waldy was making plans to leave the state, but she did not have any more details. Blank states that Miss Walde left her home without notice and she does not know where she went. I then staffed with this case with blah, blah, blah. Like, she just kept running. Every state has a daycare assistance program. And she knew her resources because she had a church paying for her stay at one of these motels. I located Miss Walde and her 3 children at the Midland Inn. The manager, who identified herself as Blank, informed me that Miss Walde was in room number 9 and that the church was paying for her stay. As I was walking towards the room, I observed Miss Walde with Blank in her arms and Blank walking with no shoes out by the parking lot. I asked her if I could speak to her inside the room. She gave me permission to enter. Blank was observed to be sleeping on the bed with a blanket that appeared to be soaked in urine. This is when the children were in her care, soaked in urine. All 3 children appeared to have a foul odor and in need of a bath. Miss Walde informed that she got into a fight with Mr. O'Neill a couple days ago at the Victorian Inn. She stated that he is the only one that is wanting to help out with the children, but this decision